And they may, for example, be closing bridges in some areas, especially in the Long Beach area. That's going to be a game time decision jointly with the Coast Guard. As for the bridges and tunnels, we're monitoring the wind conditions, and we will implement traffic and speed conditions where warranted. We always do that, and we're planning for that as well. I need to thank our incredible MTA workforce. They rise to the occasion whenever these weather events take place. We know that they're happening more frequently in the era of climate change, but we couldn't manage through the way that we do without our incredible workforce. So I want to thank them in advance. Listen, if you have to be out in the transit system tonight and tomorrow, please use extra caution. Please do consult the weather forecast, listen to the radio, watch television, check the news. Try to be aware of what the conditions may be in your area. As I said, we expect to be operating, and we're going to try to make sure that we provide full service, but we want everybody to be aware of conditions as they unfold. Check the social media that the MTA uses, all the social media outlets. We have our MTA apps and our MTA website and the digital screens in our stations. All of them will be providing up-to-date information on conditions so that New Yorkers can know how best to muddle through what looks like a very serious weather condition. With that, I will be happy to take your questions, and Colonel Warren, if you would join me, we'll answer any specific questions that may come up.
All right, who's got a question? Chris Jose right there, WNBC. Chris.
When it comes to with the coordination with the Coast Guard, what exactly does that entail between MTA, LIRR, and the Coast Guard? Well,
there's established protocols. I mean, obviously, in certain conditions, when a bridge is overwhelmed with water or there are wind conditions, it has to be closed. That has impacts to navigation, and so obviously, navigation on our waterways is a matter of federal regulation, so decisions that impact on navigation on the water have to be jointly made with the Coast Guard, which is the agency of jurisdiction there.
Anybody else? Evan Simko-Bednarski from the Daily News.
Yep. Hey, Jenna. Last time there was a significant amount of rainfall, there were some washouts in Metro North. Can you talk a little bit about what you're doing to prepare for the day after?
Well, that's a good point. In the era of climate change, we have had to get pretty experienced in dealing with washouts, especially on the Hudson line, which is so close to the Hudson River. And in many areas, that Hudson line is at the bottom of a very steep embankment or even a cliff. So we actually, not in addition to pre-positioning equipment, we have contractors on standby that we have experience working with when we have these washouts to quickly respond and restore the track. So we don't have any specific predictions of that, but the preparations to have those contractors move quickly in that event have been made.
All right, Nolan Hicks from the Post. Nolan?
Yeah, how much does a storm like this cost?
Millions, Nolan, but I don't want to in advance project exactly how much it costs. What we will give you is retrospective of what Ida, for example, cost, but more recently what other slightly smaller storms actually did in terms of damage and recovery costs.
You guys have been hammering on sort of this idea that climate change means there's more of these storms, they last longer, they do more damage than they used to. I'm wondering if there's some tally as to the amount of storm damage done, say, 20 or 30 years ago, adjusted for inflation, versus what you see now. Is there some way to quantify it?
Question that I'll need a little time to answer, but happy to do it. I mean, listen, our views of climate change are not, I am not an expert, but trying to reflect what is consensus among the professionals who work with that issue and have responded analytically to the storm events that we've seen recently.
All right, anybody else? Great, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks.